Carrie Ann Way, illustrated by Alan Flynn. Well, children, this is it, our new home, said Pa, pointing to a wide field, forest. Tim, Emily, and Beth looked out at the back of the covered wagon and saw nothing but tall trees. I don't see anything, Pa. Where is it? Asked Beth, looking around. Why, it's right here, you see. In time we'll have a cabin and a barn and a field full of crops. Pa said with a smile. Tim, Emily, and Beth looked at each other, confused. Where were the other houses? What about the stores and streets? How could they possibly live there? Ma, Pa, Uncle Jonas, and the children got down from the wagon and walked around. It was May, and there was a gentle breeze blowing across the prairie, and the tall weeds shook, and in the wind, and the trees in the nearby grove swayed back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The adults knew that turning this section of land into a home would require a lot of hard work. They also knew it would be worth it. Jonas, I can see it all in my mind, Pa exclaimed, looking around. The cabin can go here, the barn over there, and farther back we can plant the corn. Ma and Pa and the children had lived in Philadelphia, but Pa had a hard time making a living there as a printer. When he and Ma heard about the free land in Missouri, they decided to take a chance and move. Uncle Jonas was Pa's brother, and he too wanted to make new life, so they sold many of their belongings. They bought a covered wagon and made a long, dangerous journey. It was extremely rough ride for Tim, who was 11, Emily, who was 9, and Beth, who was 5. Now the first thing we needed is to build a shelter. We're going to stay in the shelter until we get a log cabin built, Pa said. Pa explained. Then he and Uncle Jonas took axes from the wagon and walked off towards the woods to gather some branches and logs. Come, children, we're going to pull some of these weeds so there's a place for a shelter, said Ma. Then, when are we going to eat lunch? Asked him. We need to be responsible and get some chores done first, Ma answered firmly. The family slept in the wagon while the shelter was being built. Pa and Uncle Jonas used logs and branches to make a structure that had 3 walls and a roof. It was not a very strong shelter, so Pa warned the children not to jostle in it, or it might fall down. On the 3rd night, the family prepared to sleep in the shelter for the first time. They placed their blankets on the ground and got in. It was not very comfortable. I don't like it here, Emily said quietly to Beth. I want to go back to Philadelphia, replied Beth sadly. I want to go back to Philadelphia, replied Beth sadly. For the next 6 weeks, Pa and Uncle Jonah worked on building the log cabin. Tim helped Pa as much as possible, while Ma and the girls prepared meals and worked on the land. At sundown, the mosquitoes came out full force, and the children tried their best to keep the bugs off of them. I'm getting bit again, exclaimed Emily, scratching her arms. Come sit by the fire. The smoke keeps the bugs away, replied Pa. We never got bit up like this back home, Tim muttered to Emily. Finally, the cabin was built, and the family moved into it. The children were still unhappy with their new home. However, Ma, can we please move back to Philadelphia? Asked Tim one day. We don't like it here. Oh, Tim, this is your home now. It is the place where you're going to live until you're an adult, Ma said kindly. I miss my friends and my house, he said. Ma was inattentive and listening to Tim. Then she gave him a big hug and told him that he would get used to it here soon. But Tim wandered away sadly. But Tim just wandered away sadly. On to page 10. One day in mid-July, Ma and the children were standing in front of the cabin, talking about the chores and that needed to be done, and that needed to get done. Just then a rabbit darted out of the tall weeds nearby, chased a red fox, both dead, and then ran straight into Ma's arms. Alright, since you guys probably couldn't understand me, just then a rabbit darted out of the tall weeds. Nearby chased a red fox. Both Beth and Emily ran straight into Ma's arms. The rabbits swerved to avoid the fox, but a moment later the fox pounced on the rabbit and dragged it away. That's why I tell you guys to always watch out for wild animals, Ma said. I want to get back into the cabin, declared Beth, and she ran off. Emily quickly followed. That afternoon the skies darkened and wind picked up. A storm is coming, said Pa to Ma. Ma walked out into the field where the children were picking weeds. Children, come back to the cabin. Now. A storm is coming. A storm is coming. A storm is coming, she said as they reached the front door. A loud clap of thunder boomed in the sky, and there was a flash of lightning. Pa and Uncle Jonas closed the door tightly as heavy rain poured down from the sky. The children huddled in the corner with Ma, as frightened as they had ever been. Pa and Uncle Jonas looked at the ceiling of the cabin, hoping and praying that it would not collapse. The wind kept blowing. Some of the mud caked off of the cabin. Mud caked between the logs of the cabin. Blew off. The mud caked some of the mud caked between the logs of the cabin blew off. Rain came into the cabin and got the floor wet. Thunder, boom, boom, lightning, strike. Continued to. Ma did her best to comfort the children. Finally, an hour later, the storm passed. A few days later, the children were still unhappy. Ma said to Pa, we have to somehow help these children accept their new life here, said Ma. The next morning, Pa and Ma took the kids out into the field. Now look out there, Pa said, pointing at the open. Now look out there, Pa said, pointing at the open prairie. You see all that land? Now you go think of what some things you guys can do out there. Because you're not going to sit here bored and maybe we have to move back. Just kidding, that's not what it said. Now look out there, said Pa said, pointing out to the open prairie. What are some things you can do out there? There is nothing to do here, replied Tim. You say that is because you're used to Philadelphia, Pa said. However, there are all kinds of things you can do out here. You can catch bugs and fish and frogs. You can climb trees. You say there is nothing to do, but there is actually everything to do. It is a contradiction. But it's true, this place has nothing and everything. Then Ma said, from now on, we want you to have fun here because it is truly a special place to live. Then Ma said, from now on, we want you to have fun here because it is truly a special place to live. The children looked at each other puzzled. They really hadn't thought about things quite that way before. Emily, let's go look for some Let's go look for some frogs, declared Tim. Let's go look for some frogs, declared Tim, with a smile. The children ran off. Ma and Pa looked at each other and smiled. Now they knew everything was going to work. Ma and Pa looked at each other and smiled. Now they knew everything was going to work out just right. The end. Thank you guys. That was A New Home on the Prairie. If you guys want to take the AR test, it is a 4.1. And the quiz number, I'll have to tell you guys the quiz number in the comments tomorrow. But if you like the story, like this and turn on the notification. Bye.